In this deck, I've labeled Grixis Drain. We are playing a deck focused around Galazeth Prismari, and its ability to make it so that way you can tap any artifact for mana of any color to cast instant and sorcery spells. When it enters the battlefield, it will generate your treasure, and it's a 3/4 flying creature. What's so great about Galazeth Prismari is that when we play not only cards like Deadly Dispute, where if we sacrifice any creature or artifact, we get ourselves treasure tokens. But we'll be able to play cards like Vampire's Kiss, so that way we can use these blood tokens as essentially ramp cards. The great thing about Vampire's Kiss is that you not only make your opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life, but you get 2 blood tokens for only 2 mana. So this card effectively is free if you have Prismari in play. To take extra advantage of all of our spell capabilities, we're running things like Galvanic Iteration with the Unexpected Windfall. As you've already are aware that this is a very strong combo, but the Galvanic Iteration also works very well with our Vampire Kiss, being a strong way to drain out the opponent, as well as also potentially pairing it with cards like Deadly Dispute just to get the extra draw value. To help us get to our goal, we do have an early copy of 2 early copies of Kalane. Even though Galazeth is our only creature that Kalane can affect, its ability to just enter the battlefield, gives a treasure token, and maybe even use the treasure to make Prismari even stronger, does give it some extra benefit. Plus, we can always sacrifice Kalane to a Deadly Dispute to get some card draw. Also, another thing that's great about Kalane is usually if you place in the early part of the game, a lot of people like to kill it because they're afraid of us going into other cards. So sometimes we can burn out some of our opponent's early removal spells. The main way that we really kill the opponent is actually through all of our spell casting with Professor Onyx because of the Magecraft ability. So for 6 mana, you get yourself a 5 loyalty planeswalker with the passive ability Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's the main reason why we're actually using Professor Onyx, but the other abilities are also really strong. +1, you lose 1 life, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them in your hand, the rest into your graveyard. -3, each opponent will sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. And the -8, we probably won't see too many -8 triggers because of how our deck's laid out. But this will make our opponent discard a card. If they don't discard a card, they'll lose 3 life, and you repeat the process 6 more times. So a total of 7 times where they'll have to either choose to discard a card or lose 3 life. The rest of the deck is a bunch of just small spells. Some removal in the form of Infernal Grasp, Fading Hopes to buy us some time, Shadow's Verdict to sweep up boards against the lower mana value rush decks. And we have a couple copies of Leer. We have a copy of Leer in the deck, so that way we can try to replay cards from the graveyard for value. With the loss of Divide by 0, it does make it so that we don't get strong value from Leer, so we're only going with 1 copy of Leer. Just because it still is very useful with how our spells work in general. And that's a general rundown of the deck. We are going to be just doing this in the best of 1, so there's no sideboard made for the deck. And we'll see how well it does. For this one, we at least have a little early interaction. Some loot ability with the blood tokens, but with Prismari, they're also ramp cards. Let's see. If we go into that same matchup, though, I think we have the ability to at least survive this time, thanks to the Vampire's Kiss. I probably actually should have led with the Haunted Ridge, so we can just use Kiss on turn 2, but I still like the idea of just playing the creature lands first whenever possible. We'll play this on red, and pass back. Seems we're against a red-green deck, which means we might be versus Werewolves. We also could just be against, a red-green Stompy deck. Partner class is actually, not partner class, but Bard's class has been getting popular lately, so that's always a possible deck idea we could be coming across. We are in an awkward situation. We do need to draw another land. Thanks to this Vampire's Kiss, though, we can loot away one of our Galvanic Iterations. So we can try to find another mana source. I think the card I'm most afraid of that our opponent having will be the partners, Helana and Alina. Alright, red, white, green. Is it red, white, green humans? Might be. Okay, we'll just go ahead and loot away one of these iterations. Because, like I said, we really need that land, and we'd like to be able to play Prismari next turn. I mean, that's a good card to draw, but we need the land first. Not good. We're actually going to give up one of our Prismaris. Just because we have 2 extras in hand already. And we're getting punished hard on our lands here. Those 2 extra redraws, we should have hit ourselves a 4th land, but sadly we are just not doing so. Nice thing about the Shadow's Verdict, it doesn't matter how large those grow, we will still be able to take care of them. Problem is, we do need to get one more land before we're able to attempt to do it. Alright. Shuffler's feeling particularly cruel against us today. At this point, I'm wondering is like if we go get our land and play Prismari, do we have enough time to still even play the Shadow's Verdict? Okay, we do finally hit another land. We'll play that on black. We go for Prismari. At this point, I'd be fine if the opponent even removed Prismari from the board, just because we did get this treachery token, so that way we can sweep up the board. I'm gonna say no blocks. It's a little risky. But we're going with the idea we're gonna use Shadow's Verdict here. And we're gonna hold Prismari on the blocks. We're not gonna attack in because they do have this layer of the Hydra. And since they have red, I'm expecting that they probably have the Haste Werewolf in their deck. They just probably haven't been putting anything on the board because they're just waiting for us to, you know, do something. And if they did commit more damage on the board, we probably would have lost before we could do that because how long it took for us to draw that fourth land. Alright. Legion Angel's bad for us because we don't have any way to really interact with them outside of our couple direct removal cards. We don't have too many of them in the deck. Let's see. Would it be better to Galvanic Deadly Dispute? Or just go for the Unexpected Windfall? I think it'll be better just to Galvanic Deadly Dispute here. The reason why I'm doing this is we'll end up actually getting more cards drawn this way. Even though we get less treasures. Okay, that's good. Problem is, we'll have to play out for the want to use this Prismari to block Legion Angel to survive. Okay. Now, if they have the pump spell to protect it, we'd like to see them use it right now. Because that means that we can freely shatter Skull Smashing. Yep. I just realized we're actually 1 mana short from Shatter Skull Smashing after I said that. Oh boy, that's not good. Let's see. So if we play Prismari, we can get another block against one. And then we're just hoping to draw well with Windfall. Yeah, this isn't ideal, but it's just, I think, what we have to do here. We go ahead and eat up our treasures to pump Prismari. Alright. We didn't get a Prismari command. But we're short... We're specifically short 1 mana from using the command with the iteration to be able to kill an angel. It's just been the game of we're always short 1 mana. I guess we have to Windfall again and hope we draw something better. Discard iteration. Alright, we got our Fading Hope, so we actually have an answer. We're going to Fading Hope right now, because that way we don't have to worry about getting hit by a protection spell. Because if they had another Snakeskin Veil, it would have been bad if we tried to do it after they untapped. Opponent got the Partners, which is actually, like I said, one of the cards I was worried that our opponent would get. But we're currently still larger than that. They have another Snakeskin Veil. It's going to be a blowout once when we go for this Shatter Skull Smashing. But we're in a situation that's our best play. Opponent. Don't tell me you have another pump spell. So that's going to be very annoying. Yep. Another pump spell. Alright, well, let's see. We have to go for this. We do it on 6. So that way it will deal 6 damage to both of these targets. And we pass the turn. We're holding Plane back because they do have the ability to activate this. They go for this land to activate. There's really not anything we can do about it. I'll try not to hover over it because it might let the opponent realize that they have a play there. Legion Angel. And Adeline. Okay. Trying to think what we can draw. Not too sure. I think we go ahead and Deadly Dispute Kalain. Because if we don't have a way to sweep them both, we're dead anyways. I think we're just dead anyways. We're just so far behind. We've been trying to play catch up this entire game. Alright. This gives us some life. That's gonna do a ton to us. We can Galvanic Iteration bounce. And if they activate one of these, we can go for a kill. Let's see, how much can we Galvanic? We have enough mana to do 2 Galvanics and still have treasure for the Fading Hope. I guess we pass. Our best bet then is opponent activating their land to try to attack in. They just move to combat. We can use iteration to bounce the things. Okay, they activate Cave. They're moving to combat. So, we activate 2 Galvanics. So we can just bounce all of these back to their hand. We don't need more land, we need something else. Need something else. Looking for Professor Onyx. Alright. So, with those bounces, we did stop the opponent from really committing something new to the, recommitting to the board here. Let's do 2 damage, create a treasure. I'm gonna go for another iteration and go for a Vampire's Kiss because we need the life. This will get us outside of the immediate danger zone that we're in. That will allow us to actually use like the Infernal Grasp a little easier. Alright. So welcoming the Vampire for the opponent. Trying to go for Adeline. We have to let that resolve. Surprised opponents, like, they're basically a mono white deck that's splashing red and green for partners and snakeskin veils. Alright, let's see. I think our best bet is just to Shadow's Verdict here. Let's sweep up both of these creatures. And we can still hold up the Infernal Grasp here. We can also hold up Deadly Dispute for some draw. Blood Tokens are just a great sacrifice option for us with the Deadly Dispute as well. Alright. We're really fighting through these Legion Angels. Another Adeline for the opponent. opponent's going to pass it back to us. We're just going to use regular Deadly Spear. I was thinking for a moment to iteration it, but I don't want to eat through all of our treasures. Might have been worth it to eat through the treasures. Oh, well, let's see. We can iteration kill both of them with grasps. Put this on the board as a ground blocker. Hunt's got some kind of interaction. Which means that this card here is probably another Snakeskin Veil. Or one of these Beaming Defiances. And if that's the case, that's going to be really bad for us. Let's see. We can iteration 1, 2, 3. And 2 more mana for Infernal Grasp. We have enough to iteration Prismari command if we need to. Alright. Alright, opponent's activating the cave. They're going to activate the land also. Fortunately, I think we're going to have to just go all in on Infernal Grasp with these iterations. Just hope the opponent doesn't have any response. Fortunately, we are now just using up all of our spells that, if we actually do find Onyx, we're not going to have really much to follow it up with. Alright, what's the opponent going to do? If they have that +2/+2 spell, we're pretty much dead. Because if they do the +2/+2 on the Legion Angel, there's no coming back for us. If it's Snakeskin Veil, we're also not going to get through this. Alright, so opponent didn't have any of the cards that I was worried about. Go for the block, and we'll use Prismari command to finish it off. And I think we will choose the draw 2, discard 2 function. That way we just try to find something that's not a land. Wow. We get through this, it's really by the skin of our teeth. Discard draw. There's Professor Onyx. We can put it on the board just to sit there. We can't even activate it.
The essence of life is inseparable from the essence of death.
As long as the opponent doesn't get a haste card, we should be good. Okay. Redain's unfortunate because it does tax the Shatter Skull Smashing. Alright. We use the minus. So X3. Alright, we are fighting through this. I don't know how if we're able to finish off the opponent or not, but we are definitely kicking and screaming all the way through here. Another Redained attacks us. That's unfortunate. That's a good draw. We're going to use the plus first. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 mana left over. So we can use Windfall and Kiss. Or we just use 2 Kisses, which I think might be better. Alright. By doing 2 Kisses, we're actually draining for a lot of life thanks to the Mage Crash triggers. We now have it set up that we can actually attack in with this land and finish them off if they don't have a blocker. Problem is, Redain does have Vigilance, and opponent's going to tax our spells even more.
You've got to learn some manners.
There's Leer. With Leer, we can just play that and win. So yeah, there we go. Where is it? Vampire's Kiss. Now that was a long shot. With how much we struggled in the early part of that game, I wasn't sure if we would get there, but we got there. Alright, we'll keep this. Hopefully we don't get the issue where we take so many turns to actually draw the 4th land again. Need that land deck. There we go. Alright, so opponent's got something to do with Monk class. So usually that means that it's going to be... Okay. We get rid of Catilda. Even though they can play it back from their graveyard, it's still important to get Catilda off the board because there are likely a lot of enchantment cards. Bring Galazeth to the board. This sets up next turn that we can get a Galvac Iteration Windfall combo. If you don't remember, they actually did ban Alrund's Epiphany, so that's not in our deck. But I never wanted to rely on that card. So I'm okay with that. Let's see, so we'll go for our Windfall combo, and we're going to give up the partners. I'm sorry, the painter I mean to say. I actually said partner. Alright, the Fading Hopes are actually going to be really solid. We'll pass the turn. Hold up Fading Hope for protecting our Prismari. Because their deck is likely to run enchantments that will exile any non-land permanent. Alright, opponent plays Cigar to Splendor. We're typically okay with that. What's the opponent going to do? Teams are going to end their turn. We'll go ahead and deal 2 damage, and we'll say create a treasure token. I want to get the spirit token off the board because it, 1, allows them to enchant with that, but 2, they get larger for each one of those that are on the board. All these Faded Hopes are actually going to be really useful for us, but I would like to draw something else that we can play more immediately. I think we'll go ahead and use the Galvanic Iteration combo again with the Deadly Dispute for drawing. Alright, so return it back to our hand. Before that happens, we'll go ahead and draw some cards. Okay, we'll let it resolve. We're going to have just a couple artifacts on our board in just a moment. Alright, so Galvanic Iteration. Galvanic Iteration. Do it one more time. And we go for the Vampire's Kiss. Now, if we had Professor Onyx on board, this would just be a lethal combination of cards that we just played. But that's still a massive hit to the opponent's life total. We also now have a ton of blood for the purposes of looting, or just tapping to play our spells. The opponent tries to get rid of Prismari. We do have all these Fading Hopes to protect it, even though we already have one in hand. Great thing is, if they actually go for using Catilda on their token, we can just sweep up the board with Shadow's Verdict. Not only will that get rid of the issue with the token, but we'll also get rid of all other ones that they potentially make. See, so we've gone through only one of our Vampire Kisses. We have gone through 2 of our iterations completely. So we have like 1.5 iteration left. Our opponent's really in the tank thinking about their play. Oh, we haven't seen the fish yet. It's actually got some interesting little animations. It's kind of fun to play with. I typically don't click on the dragon because I like just letting it sleep, but it does the typical fire spit. Okay, so if opponent has finally decided to come back to the game and play again. Alright, so I'm going to play Circuit Confinement, not because it exiles anything, but just to make more tokens. They are going to attack in. We're just going to Fading Hope the token. This will get rid of the enchantment completely, and we don't have to deal with that attack. We attack in, get some more damage in. I think we'll go ahead and just use Shatter Skull Smashing for the purposes of killing these tokens here. Okay. So, we definitely have an advantage against the opponent, but I wouldn't count the opponent out just yet. They do have quite a bit of life gain thanks to these enchantments. Alright. We really need to find a way to make the opponent lose more than 3 lives now, each turn. Which means we need to find our... Oh, I gotta put it back in our hand again, okay. We need to find our Professor Onyx, so that way we can start making the opponent lose life. Alright, opponent's just going to play that just to get the token value, as well as the life gain. Fortunately, opponent will draw themselves 3 cards during their turn. We're going to loot one of these. Okay, that's better. So let's see. They've done this to level 2 on both of these. Third one, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library for as long as the card. Alright, so they can still upgrade these to level 3s. Alright. I'm pretty sure your opponent's going to just push this back into our hand again, just to be annoying. Alright, interesting play choice the opponent did. They did that the other way. They could have made something with the sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to interact with the opponent's triggers here. We have enough artifacts, so let's actually go draw 2, discard 2. Discard, discard. Let's see, I have 39 cards. Galazeth Iteration will still give up our Fading Hope. Damage, create a treasure. I'm doing this now just because they're going to be generating 2 more tokens. Oh, jeez. Opponent does not miss. We don't want Pickle Lane right now. We're looking for Professor Onyx. Alright. I just realized I should have used the Galvanic Iteration in our graveyard for the Windfall. Alright, Leer is great, because that's unfortunately can't finish the opponent off with Leer. But we do have access to all these draw spells again. We probably can actually draw into the ability to end this, though, because of how many cards we already have. We'll give up the Infernal Grasp. Jeez. Iteration. Another Windfall. Trying to tap it this way in case we need mana in a specific way because of how we draw things. There's a Professor Onyx. It took forever, but we found her. Alright, get a land on board. Where's our cards that we're trying to use? Galvanic Iteration. Use it for 2. Now we will use a Vampire's Kiss. And this will give us 4 blood tokens, which is basically 4 more mana. Fading Hope. Yes, we want that. So we will Windfall. Discard. Another Kiss. Try to see if we can actually just finish off the opponent in this turn. I think we can. Yeah, we can. Yeah, good game. No need for that. So yeah, this is actually the power of the deck. If you get Prismari, Lear on board, you can dig yourself into a Professor Onyx really easily. Oh man, it actually became a bit of a puzzle to make sure we could finish them off there at the end, because of just how far we had to dig deep to get one of our Professor Onyxes. But as you saw, we did a ton of spells in that turn. We did enough casting from Magecraft triggers with a little bit of the extra drain to take the person down from, like, what was it, 24? That was nuts. Okay, off this hand. It's a little awkward, but I'm going to go ahead and try keeping it. See. Alright, we weren't looking for more Galazeth iterations. We're actually looking to get other cards at this point. Let's see. I mean, Galazeth would still be one of our best draws. Thanks to Prismari Command, we can at least get rid of Thalia. So we can get rid of this tax. Thalia is like one of the most annoying early creatures to come out against us, because we're out of our playable cards, we're like 97% spells. Okay, what's the opponent going to do? Going to attempt 2 more damage at us. We'll attempt to get rid of Thalia. What do you have, opponent? Are you using the +2/+2 Hexproof spell? Alright. We remove Thalia from the board. Opponent gets us with a Spellbinder, and they see that we have a lot of junk in our hand. What do they bother taxing? Alright, they tax the Kiss. We may as well just fire off a iteration against them. This allows us to potentially loot into our Galazeth that we're looking for. Of course, we're going to do this after their turn is done. That way we don't get hit by another Spellbinder. Alright, is the opponent actually going to put another thing on the board, or are they just going to activate Bugbear? Alright, Redain is obnoxious. Because we can't use our sweeper against them with the amount of mana we have. Alright. Trying to find ourselves a different card. Oh, there's our Prismari. Awesome. Thing is, I'm a little worried about putting Prismari on the board, because it hasn't used any removal spells yet. I think it's still worthwhile just going for it right now. Let's see, and we can even use Galvac Iteration Kiss combo again. I won't lie, if they attack in, I'm a little worried about blocking, because of the possibility that they're using small burn, or even just small pump. Alright, and adversary for the opponent, they can only pump once because of the land base that they have. What's with this red, white, green deck getting so popular right now, where it's basically mono white with like red, green just splashed for the partners? Alright, we're just gonna take it. Again, like I said, I'm worried about the small burn or pump from the opponent. We're at the point where we are looking for Sweeper or some other spell to interact, or even just draw a spell. It feels bad that we're discarding so much since we want to use these as mana sources. Alright, Shadow's Verdict. This will just be a hard sweep against these creatures. They don't have any way to protect them. And we're going to hold back on the defense. Just because our opponent may still have hasty creatures we're worried about. Alright. They play the Thalia. And they pass turn. Alright, we go ahead and bring out Professor Onyx. We're gonna go for the plus, though.
Really want to fight me? That's cute.
Alright, there's an Infernal Grasp. And let's see, we do have enough that we can
Thought I'd miss the
copy it
library.
with the one in hand. So we're just gonna still hold up back on the defense. But it brings out another Intrepid Adversary. They can't attack Onyx. That's what I think it is. We can block Thalia. They'd have to try to use it offensively and won't work out for them. Because I think that's a shoot, why am I blanking on the name of it? Snake Skin protection spell.
I have impeccable study habits.
This Thalia is annoying, so I think we're going to go ahead and get it off the board. I still probably should have used the Galvanic Iteration here. Alright, it was what I thought it was. Oh, shoot. The extra tax from Thalia. I misdid my math. I was going to try to Deadly Dispute here. Darn you, Thalia. Oh, and they get the partners off the top. Partners off the top route. Alright, that getting pumped does make it so that way we can let Professor Onyx just die, put new Professor Onyx on board, and use it for a minus to get rid of adventures.
I need answers, not more problems. Great. So much for a new start.
Fortunately, bringing this on board doesn't feel too great. Let's do this real quick.
Professor Onyx.
Alright, we use the minus because we need to get the adversary off the board.
Well, darn. Looks like you flunked out. Mwah.
And we'll attack in. Let's see, the opponent's putting at 6. We can do this. Brings the opponent down a bit more. let's actually just fire this off just for the drain value. This sets it up so that way, if they're gonna have to block with the partners, but they actually have to like gain life or something. Because we can use iteration with Vampire's Kiss now just to drain the opponent. We don't actually have to attack in. Our opponent's attacking with the partners, which means that they have no fear of us killing them for the extra 1 point of damage in the air. And we'll just go ahead and just still do the combo for fun. I didn't do it for one more time just because I was still worried I was going to accidentally over-tap like last time. The Professor Onyx definitely is a MVP of this deck for being a finisher. The one of Lear was definitely helping us recast all the cards in the graveyard. And Galazeth Prismari definitely has strong comboing potential with all of these artifact-generating cards. And I think it makes a very playable deck. If you're looking for maybe some flexible sweeper other than Shadow's Verdict, I can't really recommend much else outside of it because it's the best sweeper you have that doesn't accidentally kill Prismari itself. But if you need to, you can run Burn Down the House. As you can use this to deal 5 damage to all creatures and planeswalkers. Or you can even just use it to just generate yourself the 3 devil tokens that are the 1/1s when they die, deal 1 damage to any target. And this actually does make for a decent card to replicate with Galvanic Iteration. Not only as make it so that we can do 10 damage to everything instead of the 5 damage, because sometimes you really need to kill large things. But it also allows you to potentially just make a ton of little 1/1 tokens that clog up the board, giving you solid blockers for so many turns that allow you to keep poking for damage. Or just gives you a nice like Alpha Strike turn also. So that's a decent option if you're looking for something to replace the Shadow's Verdict. But this is a best of 1 style deck layout. If you're looking for a best of 3, maybe I'd probably still mainly use what's here for the core, and then in the side deck, add in what you feel that you need, like the Burn Down the Houses if you're like versus a deck that just constantly keeps going wide, and then also bring in the counter spells for the control matchups, because you have to protect Professor Onyx against the white-black decks. But yeah, no, that was the deck. I think it worked out really well.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video, and have a nice one.